The unexpected sanctuary. Violet Hayes pressed her back against the concrete pillar in the parking garage, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting strange shadows that made every corner feel threatening. She clutched her laptop bag like a shield, her other hand fumbling in her purse for her phone. "Come on, Vi. Don't be like this." Marcus Brennan's voice echoed through the nearly empty garage, closer than it had been a moment ago. "I just want to talk. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking." Violet squeezed her eyes shut, fighting the urge to cry. 6 months. She had managed to stay hidden for 6 months, building a new life in a new city with a new job. She had changed her phone number, deleted all her social media, moved 3 times before settling into her current apartment. And somehow, Marcus had still found her. "I know you're scared, but you don't need to be." His footsteps grew louder, the deliberate click of expensive dress shoes on concrete. "I've changed, Vi. I've been seeing a therapist. I understand now that I was too intense before, but that's only because I love you so much." Violet's hands shook as she finally located her phone. The same words he always used, the same promises that had kept her trapped for 2 years before she finally found the courage to leave. Marcus Brennan didn't change. He adapted, learned new manipulation tactics, became better at hiding the control behind concern. She had met him 3 years ago at a tech conference in Boston. He had been charming, successful, attentive in ways that made her feel special. By their 3rd date, he was texting her constantly. By their 3rd month, he was tracking her location through a shared app he claimed was for safety. By 6 months, he had isolated her from her friends, convinced her to quit her job at a competing firm, and moved her into his condo where he could monitor her every move. The breaking point had come when she discovered he had installed cameras in every room, including the bathroom. When she confronted him, he had calmly explained it was for her protection, that the world was dangerous for someone as naive as her. That night, while he slept, Violet had packed a single bag and disappeared. "Violet, this is ridiculous." Marcus's voice held an edge now, the veneer of patience cracking. "You can't hide forever. We're meant to be together. You know that. Everyone who knows us knows that." Violet peered around the pillar, trying to locate her car. It was 3 rows away, and Marcus was somewhere between her and freedom. Her fingers hovered over the emergency call button, but past experience told her that calling the police would only make things worse. Marcus was a senior analyst at a prestigious investment firm with connections throughout the city. The one time she had tried to get a restraining order, his lawyer had painted her as an unstable ex-girlfriend, and the judge had dismissed the petition. "I saw you, going into quantum tech solutions every morning, looking beautiful as always, though you've lost weight. Are you eating properly? You need someone to take care of you, Vi. You've never been good at taking care of yourself." The condescension in his voice made Violet's fear morph into anger. She had been taking excellent care of herself. For the first time in years, she felt like she could breathe. She had friends at work, an apartment she had furnished herself, a life that belonged to her alone. And Marcus wanted to steal it all away again. "Mr. Brennan!" A new voice cut through the garage, deep and authoritative. "Step away from the vehicle." Violet's head snapped up. Dominic Cross, the CEO of Quantum Tech Solutions, stood 20 feet away near the elevator bank. He was still in his work clothes, a charcoal suit that probably cost more than Violet's monthly rent. His tie loosened and his expression harder than she had ever seen it during their brief professional interactions. Marcus turned, his posture shifting to something more aggressive. "This is a private conversation between me and my girlfriend. Mind your business." "Miss Hayes is my employee, which makes her safety my business." Dominic moved closer, and Violet noticed he positioned himself between her and Marcus. "And from where I'm standing, this looks more like harassment than a conversation." "You don't know what you're talking about." Marcus's voice took on the reasonable tone he used when trying to appear rational. "Violet and I are in a relationship. We had a misunderstanding, but we're working through it. She's just being dramatic." "I'm not his girlfriend," Violet said, her voice stronger than she expected. "I haven't been for 6 months. He's stalking me."
Stalking? Vi, don't be ridiculous. I've been trying to reach you because you left without explanation. Any reasonable person would want closure. Any reasonable person would respect her clear desire for no contact, Dominic said coldly. He pulled out his phone, and Violet saw him open the camera app. I'm documenting this encounter, Mr. Brennan. If you don't leave the premises immediately, I'll be calling the police and providing them with video evidence of you harassing my employee on private property. For a moment, Marcus looked like he might argue. His jaw clenched, and his hands curled into fists at his sides. But Dominic didn't move, didn't show any sign of intimidation. At well over 6 feet, he had a few inches on Marcus, and there was something in his stance that suggested he knew how to handle himself in a confrontation. This isn't over, Violet. You can't run forever. We're going to talk, really talk, and you're going to remember why we belong together. He walked toward the elevator, his footsteps echoing through the garage. Dominic kept filming until the elevator doors closed, then immediately opened his phone's contacts. I'm calling security to escort him from the building and flag his information so he can't access the garage again, Dominic said, his tone all business. Then his expression softened slightly as he looked at Violet, who had slumped against her car. Are you all right? I don't know, Violet admitted. Her legs felt weak, and her hands were still shaking. I thought I was safe here. I thought I had finally gotten away. Dominic made his call to security, providing Marcus's description and license plate number, which he had apparently memorized. When he finished, he turned his full attention to Violet. How long has he been harassing you? Since I left him 6 months ago? Before that, we were together for 2 years, but it wasn't healthy. He's controlling, obsessive. I had to escape. Something flickered in Dominic's eyes, an emotion Violet couldn't quite identify. Understanding, maybe? Or recognition? Have you filed a restraining order? I tried. His lawyers got it dismissed. They made me look crazy. I've moved 3 times, changed my number, deleted all social media. I don't know how he found me. Dominic was quiet for a moment, clearly thinking. Then he said something Violet never expected. He's obsessed with you being his girlfriend, correct? With the idea that you belong to him? Dominic's expression was calculating now, the same look he had seen in board meetings when he was strategizing. What if you weren't available? What if you were already in a relationship with someone he couldn't intimidate or manipulate? Violet stared at him, not quite comprehending. I don't understand. I'm suggesting we fake a relationship, make it public enough that he believes it's real. Someone in my position has resources he can't match and a public profile that would make any harassment on his part very visible and very stupid. Dominic met her gaze directly. I'm offering to be your shield, Miss Hayes, if you'll let me. The offer was so unexpected, so bizarre, that Violet almost laughed, but the serious expression on Dominic's face stopped her. He was genuinely proposing this, genuinely offering to involve himself in her messy, dangerous situation. Why would you do that? Violet asked. You barely know me. This isn't your problem. For a moment, Dominic looked away, something painful crossing his features. Let's just say I have personal reasons for hating men who treat women as possessions, and I have the resources to help. The question is whether you're willing to accept help. Violet looked at her car, then back at the elevator where Marcus had disappeared. She thought about the fear that she had been living with for 6 months, the constant looking over her shoulder, the anxiety that had become her constant companion. And Dominic Cross, the brilliant but intimidating CEO who had just offered her something no one else had, real protection. Okay, she said finally. Okay, let's do it. Let's make him believe I've moved on to someone he can't touch. Dominic nodded, something like satisfaction crossing his face. Then we start tomorrow. For now, let me escort you to your car and follow you home to make sure he's not waiting somewhere. We'll discuss the details of our arrangement in my office Monday morning. As Violet drove home with Dominic's expensive sedan behind her, she wondered what she had just agreed to. She was about to enter into a fake relationship with one of the most powerful men in the tech industry, all to escape the grasp of a man who refused to let her go. It felt surreal, like something from a movie rather than her actual life. But as she glanced in her rearview mirror and saw Dominic's headlights following protectively, she felt something she hadn't felt in months: hope. Maybe, just maybe, she had finally found someone strong enough to stand between her and Marcus's obsession. And maybe for the first time since she had escaped, she could actually be free. The charge-in begins. Monday morning arrived with a mix of dread and strange anticipation. Violet sat across from Dominic in his office, a leather folder between them containing what he called the arrangement parameters. "We need to make this convincing," Dominic said, sliding a document across his desk. "Public appearances, social media presence, the occasional display of affection. Nothing that makes you uncomfortable."
I found the cameras he'd hidden. Something in me just snapped. I realized I'd rather be alone forever than spend another day being watched like that. Violet met Dominic's gaze. I thought I'd escaped. But he's never going to let me go, is he? He will, because I won't let him hurt you. Dominic moved closer, his hand finding hers. You're not alone anymore, Violet. You don't have to fight this battle by yourself. The tenderness in his voice broke something in Violet. She leaned into him, and Dominic wrapped his arms around her, holding her while she finally let herself cry for everything Marcus had stolen. I'm scared, she whispered against his chest. Not just of Marcus. I'm scared of this, of us. What if you're just being protective because of Claire? What if when this is over, you realize I was just a project? Dominic pulled back, cupping her face in his hands. You are not a project. You're brilliant and strong, and you make me laugh at terrible jokes. I haven't felt this way about anyone in years, and it terrifies me too. So what do? We take it one day at a time. We deal with Marcus, and then we figure out what this really is between us. He pressed his forehead to hers. But Violet, whatever happens, I need you to know this is real for me. You're real for me. She kissed him then, and this time there was no audience, no performance, just them, tangled together on his couch, letting the fake relationship dissolve into something genuine and terrifying and perfect. They didn't hear Violet's phone buzzing with increasingly angry texts from Marcus, who had somehow discovered where she was staying. They didn't see the car parked across the street, watching Dominic's building with obsessive focus. The storm was coming. But for one night, wrapped in each other's arms, Violet let herself believe she might actually be safe. Dangerous escalation. The morning after their first real kiss, Violet awoke to the sound of Dominic on the phone in his office, his voice tight with controlled anger. She padded down the hallway, pausing outside the door. I don't care what it costs. I want every piece of communication documented, every instance of harassment recorded. If he so much as looks at her building, I want to know about it. A pause. Yes, the best security team you have. Money is not an issue. Violet pushed the door open. Dominic turned, his expression softening when he saw her, but the tension remained in his shoulders. What happened? Dominic ended his call and pulled up his tablet, showing her a series of photos. Violet felt sick. They were pictures of Violet and Dominic, taken through windows, in parking garages, outside restaurants. Dozens of them, time-stamped over the past 3 weeks. Marcus sent these to my personal email this morning, with a message, "She's only with you because you're rich. When she gets bored, she'll come back to someone who really loves her." Dominic's jaw clenched. He's been following us, photographing us. This is beyond harassment. Violet, this is stalking with intent. We need to go to the police. Already done. I have a meeting with Detective Rivera in an hour. She specializes in stalking cases. He took Violet's hands. I'm also having my legal team file for an emergency restraining order. With this evidence and the witnesses from the parking garage, we have a strong case. Violet nodded, but fear coiled in her stomach. He's escalating. The more we push back, the more dangerous he becomes. which is why I'm not taking chances. You're not going anywhere without security from now on. Dominic, this isn't negotiable. His voice was firm, but his eyes pleaded. I can't. I won't let anything happen to you. The meeting with Detective Rivera revealed even more disturbing details. Marcus had been using multiple email addresses and phone numbers to contact Violet. He'd attempted to access her medical records. He'd even tried to befriend one of her coworkers to get information about her schedule. Mr. Brennan is exhibiting classic escalation patterns. The fact that he's now targeting Mr. Cross and documenting your relationship suggests he's building towards something. We need to take this seriously. The restraining order was granted within 48 hours, but Marcus violated it within 24. He showed up at Quantum Tech Solutions claiming he had important information about Dominic that she needed to know for her own safety. Security detained him until police arrived, and Marcus was arrested for violating the restraining order. But as they led him away, he shouted across the lobby, "He's using you, Violet. This whole relationship is fake. I have proof." The words sent ice through Violet's veins. How did Marcus know their relationship had started as an arrangement? The answer came that evening, when a private investigator called Dominic. Marcus had hired someone who'd interviewed former employees, dug through company records, and pieced together the timeline. He'd discovered that Violet and Dominic had barely interacted before Marcus's appearance in the parking garage. Then suddenly they were dating. "He's going to use it," Violet said, pacing Dominic's living room. "He's going to claim you're manipulating me, that the whole thing is just you playing hero. He'll twist it to make me look unstable and you look controlling." "Let him try." Dominic pulled her close. "The relationship might have started as strategy, but what we have now is real. That's what matters." "Is it?" The words burst out before Violet could stop them. "I don't know if this is just your savior complex, that you're not just trying to fix what you couldn't fix with Claire. Maybe Marcus is right. Maybe I'm just a project to you." Dominic's expression shifted to hurt, then anger. "Is that really what you think? That I'd spend every waking moment worried about your safety, hire security teams, restructure my entire schedule just to assuage guilt? You think I'd fake feelings?" "I don't know what to think. A month ago you were just my boss. Now we're living together and you're fighting my battles, and I don't know where the act ends and reality begins." "There is no act," Dominic's voice rose, frustration finally breaking through his control. "I'm in love with you, Violet. Not because of Claire, not because of some hero complex, but because you're brilliant and strong, and you make me laugh at terrible jokes. I haven't felt this way about anyone in years, and it terrifies me too." "So what do? We take it one day at a time. We deal with Marcus, and then we figure out what this really is between us." He pressed his forehead to hers. "But Violet, whatever happens, I need you to know this is real for me. You're real for me." She kissed him then, and this time there was no audience, no performance, just them, tangled together on his couch, letting the fake relationship dissolve into something genuine and terrifying and perfect. They didn't hear Violet's phone buzzing with increasingly angry texts from Marcus, who had somehow discovered where she was staying. They didn't see the car parked across the street, watching Dominic's building with obsessive focus. The storm was coming. But for one night, wrapped in each other's arms, Violet let herself believe she might actually be safe. Breaking free. Marcus's arrest for arson and making terroristic threats changed everything. The bail was revoked, and he was held pending trial. But the damage was done. Violet couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, jumping at every sound. "He's in jail," Dominic reminded her gently, finding her staring out the window at 3 a.m. "But eventually there'll be a trial, and his lawyers will argue temporary insanity or crimes of passion, and he'll get a reduced sentence. He'll be out in a few years, and this will start all over again." Violet's voice was hollow. Maybe I should just leave. Change my name, move across the country, disappear completely. No. Dominic turned her to face him. You shouldn't have to erase your entire existence because one man can't accept rejection. That's not justice. Then what is? We fight. My legal team is working with the DA to ensure maximum charges stick. We document everything, we testify, we make sure the court understands the pattern of abuse and stalking. And we do it together. Over the next 2 months, that's exactly what they did. Dominic's lawyers compiled a comprehensive case with documentation Violet didn't even know existed. Every threatening message, every photograph Marcus had taken, testimony from his previous girlfriends who came forward with similar stories of obsessive behavior. The trial was grueling. Marcus's defense painted him as a heartbroken man, driven to desperation by love. They tried to use the fake relationship against Violet, claiming she was mentally unstable and had manipulated 2 successful men with her victim narrative. But when Violet took the stand, she spoke with quiet strength about the cameras hidden in her home, the isolation, the constant surveillance. And when Dominic testified, about finding her terrified in the parking garage, about the escalating harassment and eventual arson, even Marcus's expensive lawyers couldn't create reasonable doubt. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Guilty on all counts: stalking, harassment, violation of a restraining order, arson,